This is the pre-market analysis of 5th of August. So we have a lot to discuss with respect to the closing candle of the last 2 days. I'll discuss. See, one thing is that when you are someone who's following the pivots, right? Then the pivots have actually shifted. Any technical analysis, if you follow, it is based on that candle also. So that candle is coming from nowhere. So even that is part of your EMAs. So when EMA is calculated, that candle is taken into consideration, the average price. Even when the pivot is calculated, right? Pivot is calculated based on the open, close, low, and high of that particular day. So open is fine. Even open is also manipulated. Now the close is also getting manipulated. Open is manipulated based on the previous close. Now day's close is also again based on the auction. So only high and low. Even high is also manipulated. Some extent the low is also manipulated. So it is very difficult. So what I do is I calculate it manually now, right? Based on I ignore the first candle and the last candle, and in between, what is the value? That way, based on the high and low, I'll have to calculate manually, or I'll have to do it based on the futures because that's something which is continuously traded. So I'll adjust it with futures, and then if it is traded with 50-point premium, I look at the pivots on futures, and accordingly I will adjust with the spot. Not blindly going to take what is the pivot which is shown in the actual chart, because we can't take it as that candle is also significantly getting affected. Whether it is EMAs, it's affected. So now it is going to be very difficult to trade based on the spot chart. Otherwise, also dynamic resistance like EMA, normally I look at futures, but the horizontal resistance, that static, that support resistances, that we used to look at the sport chart, which is more reliable, but that now is getting affected by this candle. So my point is, you can calculate it manually, or you can adjust it with the futures, and you can plan. Now coming to today, US markets are at all-time high, fresh all-time high. S&P at fresh all-time high. Dow Jones is at fresh all-time high. Yesterday rallied almost 1.5, 1.7%. So we will see how our market is going to respond. And most importantly, today is RBI policy day. So I'll be talking about that also. So in my opinion, till 10 o'clock, it is better not to trade. And then because market will be, going sideways, it will be flat. Initially, you will get a dip, and then there will be an up move, and then there will be a consolidation till 10 o'clock. And then 10 o'clock, not with the announcement of the rate, because the rate, we know it is not going to be changed. It will be kept at 5.25 itself. But post that, the commentary. Now, what that is what the market is going to watch, right? So the most important event for today is the RBI monetary policy decision, which is at 10 o'clock. So till 10 o'clock, no, don't trade unnecessarily. You are not going to get some big trades, maybe 10 points here and there, you'll be getting to scalp. If you get a decent dip, right, then in that case, definitely before 10 a.m., there will be a bounce that you can try to capture. If you're not getting a dip, if the market is just consolidating, just ignore that. After 10 o'clock, the rate, we know it is going to be 5.25. There is not going to be any change. So then what we need to look at, we need to look at the commentary on what he is talking about, right? The governor's press conference, where what is the inflation outlook, what is the GDP growth forecast, and the assessment of the crude oil prices, and the recent increase in FCNR deposits, and the possibility of rate hike in October or December, and then the MPC voting pattern also you need to see, and the RBI policy stance. So these are the things that you need to watch from the commentary. Now, guys, again, if you have any difficulty in decoding this, if you would like to join our live market mentoring program on RBI policy day, talk to our team, join the session, and you will be able to trade with us also. Okay, so that we can decode those in live. Now, coming to RBI inflation forecast. See, in the previous policy meeting, RBI increased the inflation forecast from 4.6 to 5.1. But inflation during April-June quarter is averaged around 4% only, and RBI's expectation was around 4.2. That means actual inflation was slightly lower than RBI's estimate, and in fact, most of the economists is expecting RBI to retain a full year inflation forecast of 5.1. That means if RBI retained that inflation forecast of 5.1, that I would say it's mildly positive. So that's the first thing that I want to tell. If it is increased, slightly negative. If it is decreased, even very positive. Even if it is kept at 5.1, I'm talking about inflation forecast, it is going to be very good. Then similarly, crude oil assumption. Then with respect to the GDP growth forecast also, in the previous meeting, RBI reduced the GDP growth forecast from 6.9 to 6.6. At that time, it was slightly negative, and most economists now expecting it will be kept as it is 6.6 itself. So if RBI increase the growth forecast from the 6.6 to, because the war scenario is almost over now, the agreement is going to come in place. Crude prices also have came down. So in that case, at least from 6.6 to 6.7, if RBI is going, that is going to be very positive. And if RBI retains 6.6 also, it's neutral. But if it is bringing it down, no chance. I don't think that 6.6 or low. If that happens, it is negative. I just told you. So inflation forecast 5.1 is positive. Growth 6.6 or higher is positive. Okay. Now FCNR, I'm skipping. There is, you just need to keep a watch on that RBI commentary, and then voting pattern is very important. It is going to be, because 6 members, if they are voting for no change, it is very positive. That means RBI is very comfortable. But if 1 or 2 members vote for a rate increase, that may indicate some internal pressure for the future rate hike in the future. See, even this Fed policy also, if you remember, I told you 2 members were voted for the rate hike, which was not actually good. Similarly, if any members have any disagreement, that means there is some internal pressure that may indicate a future rate hike also. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. So what is a positive outcome on RBI policy? If you see RBI retains, neutral stance, then it is positive. Negative outcome, RBI changes its stance towards, withdrawal of accommodation, or uses phrases like inflation risk are materially titled to the upside, then the market may become nervous. With respect to the rate, repo rate will remain unchanged. That's the most positive, realistic RBI outcome. Neutral stance will be retained, and inflation forecast 5.1, that will remain unchanged. Growth may increase or keep it 6.6, it's also fine, and no strong warning regarding future rate hikes. If this is the case, RBI policy is going to be positive, right? Now coming to the closing auction session, previous market session. See what happening, 3:15 to 3:30. By that time, 3:15, I think even 3 o'clock, 3:15, even at 1:45 also, market was trading near 24, 450, 460. It was from the top, it was down around 311 points, and it was almost 1.25 down. But during the closing auction, Nifty suddenly increased by 151 point. That's because of the speculation which is happening. I won't say manipulation, because you are placing orders, right? And someone is placing buy order, someone is placing sell order. That is taking Nifty higher. Now, next day, it can be similarly a lower candle also. If you are not quoting that much higher at that level, it can go down. So, straddle players, anyway, see, it's just the direction is what matters. Straddle, it could be put side increase, you may see on the next side, as you have seen call side increase on this last 2 days, right? So just my opinion is, strongly I will suggest not to trade after 3:15. There is no need to speculate, because that is completely based without seeing, without even understanding. You are blindly betting that it either goes up or down, right? So I won't think that's actually trading. So you better need to avoid it. Now, yeah, so these are the main things that I want to discuss. And if you look at US market, all three major indices closed significantly positive. Dow Jones have increased 1.7%, and it's a fresh all-time high. S&P increased again 1.8%, fresh all-time high. Nasdaq 2.6%, and that outperformed for the second consecutive day. So the global market sentiment is strongly positive. All the Asian markets are looking good. Okay, US market is looking good. Our market is also looking good. Today, we are waiting for RBI policy decision. Crude oil is coming down. Last couple of days back, we have seen at 97, now came below 80, which is again good. US Iran update also. If you see US Treasury Secretary Scott Benson and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have stated that US-Iran agreement could potentially be reached within 2 days, possibly by today or tomorrow. And Qatar also stated the mediation process have reached its advanced stage. But of course, Iran denied any direct negotiation with the US, and Iran stated that it was only discussing safe shipping arrangement with Oman. And there is an arrangement with Oman is also going on. And according to various reports, the accepted arrangement between Iran and Oman include, basically, Iran would exercise full sovereign authority. And when it comes to the inbound commercial vehicles, when it comes to the outbound vehicles, Oman would play a limited clearance role. Oman would have not would have to notify Iranian authorities, and Iran would maintain full visibility over vessel movements, and Iran would retain the ability to intervene whenever it is necessary. Now, coming to the Strait of Hormuz control, under this agreement, it is actually described as no toll fees are currently proposed, and Iran would control the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran could close if it chooses. So, because of all these fresh developments which is happening, that the agreement is coming into picture, and then Oman alternate arrangement, crude oil prices have fallen. Brent crude fallen below 80, WTI it's 79, WTI is 75. We have seen 3 days back, Brent was trading at 97. So falling below 80 now, it's very positive. Now, if you look at GIF Nifty, GIF Nifty is trading at 24,741. That means from yesterday's official close, right? I'm not talking about the continuous trading value, official close, which is around 640. So we are now getting a close to 70-point gap up is what we are getting. 70, 80-point gap up, maybe 100-point gap up is what we are getting. So yeah, 70-point gap up anyway you will get. And if you look at ADRs also, HDFC ADR is very actually negative compared to the Indian market. IC is also compared to Indian market, it is positive. So there is a small positive arbitrage on the banking sector. IT, if you see Infosys and Wipro is positive, so 2 to 5% arbitrage you can see. So see, we have seen yesterday US markets have given strong rally. Crude is below 80. Now GIF Nifty is indicating a positive opening. ADRs, okay, fine, not that great. Especially IT is very strong. And this RBI risk is coming after 10 o'clock. We don't know, but nothing much we are expecting from that. Rate will remain unchanged. Just the commentary is what matters. The commentary is going to be the main driver. So if RBI keep the rate unchanged and retain a neutral stance and does not increase the inflation forecast, then the positive reaction can be there. Negative scenario, if you see RBI, if there is any warning about persistent food-driven inflation, or if there is any signaling about the October rate hike, then market may reverse whatever opening gain is there. Otherwise, things are looking positive. Global momentum is there. Crude prices falling. The war scenario is coming down. Strait of Hormuz situation is getting better. Our market is also doing good. FIAs are coming back. FIAs yesterday bought for around 2,500 crore. It's the sixth consecutive session FIIs are buying, and DIIs also bought around 1,000 crore, so which is good. And if you look at call open interest yesterday expiry, so call open interest 28% unwinding, put unwinding 48%. So put unwinding is more. That's expiry unwinding. Now the current PCR, if you see, it's around 0.98. Okay, so 0.98, which is neutral, I would say. Now, participant-wise, retailers are 22% bullish, FIIs are 21% bearish, prop traders are neutral stance. So these are main things that I want to discuss. Now, open interest, if you see, 24,500, right, that is there. So today we need to see 24,700. Highest call open interest now at 24,700, 24,600 and 25,000. New call rating coming at 24,800, 24,600. Put side, if you see 24,500 and 24,200. New put rating is coming at around 24,500 and even 24,000 also. So 24,500 to 24,600, that is that range now. That's where yesterday also market was playing out, day before also. So let's see, we are getting a gap up today, opening around 700. So if it is giving a dip to 600, it could be a support. And let's see whether it is going to touch 24,800 today, looking at RBI policy outcome also. So trade carefully, trade responsibly. So if you would like to join us, our community, and trade live with our community where I trade and I explain my trades, talk to my team, join the session. I see you there.